Good evening, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue or Southeast Asia TV. Tonight I have the pleasure to have a young, Cambodian professional who specializes in rural economy, and I thought that the best topic to talk today is about innovative rural development, perhaps a good perspective from Cambodia. As you know, Cambodia is primarily an agriculture country. Let's face it. We talk a lot about, export government to Europe, to the U.S. We talk a lot about tourism. Tourists are coming to Cambodia. I think last year we exceeded more than 5 million people. But if you drive around Cambodia, if you leave Phnom Penh, you leave Siem Reap, what you see is an agrarian society. And this is something that we tend to sort of like neglect our potential. So I thought it'd be good to have a good chat, a good dialogue today. So Piseth, welcome to the show and thank you for coming. But before we start, I'd like to give you a few minutes for you to introduce yourself to the audience a bit.
Yeah, thank you, Excellencies and Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor to be here today with you to talk. To share some of my perspective on the rural economy of Cambodia. And my name is KeoPiseth. I am the director of Center for Sustainable Development Studies, the Asian Vision Institute. Before going to the substance on rural economy, I would like to briefly introduce my background a little bit. I was born in Cambodia, but in Phnom Penh, and Phnom Penh that time was not like Phnom Penh today. Yeah, during the 1980, it was like rural Cambodia. So we barely have basic services, even hospital, road access, good water quality, and so on. And I went for my bachelor degree in the Royal University of Agriculture, and then I went for my overseas studies, working on environmental management and development. And during the study, I also work in rural areas in Kok Kong province, in different part of the in various provinces in Cambodia, and working more on environmental management and rural livelihood. And
What university you went overseas?
For my master degree, I went to Australian National University.
Okay, ANU.
Yeah, ANU on environmental management and development. And for my PhD, I was on a joint doctoral program with National University of Singapore and Harvard, Harvard Yenching Institute. So I spent like 3 years and a half in NUS and 1 year and a half in Harvard. So my topic was on the environmental management and developments for looking at policy that can shape and drive Cambodia forward and try to find balance between environmental conservation and development.
When you come back to Cambodia?
In 2017, late 2017, but I officially graduated, got my degree in 2018.
Okay, all right. That's great. So exciting to finish your schooling, I guess. It's always the exciting part to finish your thesis, and I guess coming home, to try to apply this new knowledge. I think it must be something that you are proud. But anyway. Tell me a bit about Cambodia rural economy. What transpires, since the peace process? Yeah, let's just start the deadline from the moment we have the peace process, right? Because we all know that before that, it's really, I would say, nearly ground zero. I wouldn't say totally ground zero, but it's somewhere there. So let's start after the peace process. What have you seen the evolution of Cambodia in the context of agricultural development?
Yeah, starting from the peace process in early 1990, Cambodia economy have really increased. The GDP have grown in average 7.5% from 1995 to 2018, and the shape of the economy also changed from the agrarian economies to more service and manufacturing. But even though with that economic growth, Cambodia is still reliant on agriculture. We still are agrarian economy. And you look at the sector itself, the GDP from the agriculture, it's around like 30%. But then if you look at the labor force in agriculture, it's still largely a lot of employment in agriculture, fishery and forestry. And the role of the economy is still of the agriculture is still large because of a lot of people living in rural areas. 70% according to the World Bank data is 70% of the people living in rural areas, and 90% of the poor are living in rural areas. So the economy, agriculture remains very important for Cambodia, and we really have to explore more on rural Cambodia. What can we do? What can we use for the best of the potential that we have in rural areas in order for Cambodia to move forward to achieve the Vision 2030 to become the middle upper incomes in 2050.
I would say from the early 90s, we have moved quite a bit. We now have I think we had a rice policy for quite a while already, nearly 10 years. So I think at least the rice sector is doing well, right? I mean, but what are other agricultural subsector that you think have potential?
I totally agree that the rice sector have done it really well, but we haven't really looked at other products that can also have potential. You can see the recent news that the banana we export to China, and we are trying to explore different what we call agricultural commodity that can be exported as well.
Cassava is
cassava is also one of the commodities, and maybe the paper have also been exporting to other countries, but not really much in large amounts of agricultural product itself. So we really have to explore different agricultural
how about agro industry crop like rubber, for example?
Yeah, rubber has been doing well last decades, but there are fluctuation as well. So we need to really explore that potential for rubbers and cashew nut also. So there are to me we need to explore more and try to connect the different market to the world, because there are challenges that Cambodia have still faced in terms of the exporting the agricultural product to
Piseth, you mentioned one word which is very dear to me, because I'm more a trade person by background, right? So to me, anything have to be linked to the market, right? But to be linked to the market, you need access, you need road, you need infrastructure, you need I would say this connectivity, if I can use the buzzword of the century now is connectivity. Everything's about connectivity. But let's face it, after the peace process start, right? How difficult it is for us to go to the province. I mean, to go to Mandalkari, it will take you God knows how many days. But now you can leave in the morning and have lunch over there. And along the way, along the road, the paved road, right? Along this highway, you see bustling rural economy, micro enterprise pushing up, right? What is your perspective in terms of this access to the market, right? With all the road highway that we have now, even rural area like in Peri here, what do you see the impact in terms of that connectivity aspect?
In terms of the connectivity aspect, Cambodia have really moved so fast. The government have put a lot of effort on infrastructure development. We could easily see the difference from just 5 years different, not needless to say about 10 or 15 years. That the road to Mandalkari, to Piseth and other rural area really well connected, and it's much easier for the commodity to connect to the market. But what I have seen is the problem right now. There are some areas the agriculture itself seem to be fragmented, and collections of this areas of the agricultural product to come to the market. Sometimes they have to go to local markets, and then the towns, and then go to all the way to.
So too many fragmentation, right? So in other words, the supply chain is not smooth yet.
It's not smooth yet, and there remain a problem between the demand and supply. Sometimes the rural people, they could not even supply the amount that already been agreed. So there are really challenges between the two that need more facilitations.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, there's a clear role of public sector stepping in terms of helping on the larger macro issue, policy coordination, perhaps,
Yeah. Yeah, there's very important role for public sectors to play. Like for example, Ministry of Agriculture, there's a light role for agriculture extensions to have a coordinator to provide training to rural people to plant organic crops and so on. And there's a light role for public sectors, and there also the role of the private sector as well. So what the project we've been doing, we can come to that later. We try to bring its public-private partnership to help make sure that there's the demand and supply really well coordinated.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this notion of coordinating and ensuring a much smoother, less fragmented approach. It's probably the main issue now, because sometimes if you take Siem Reap is a good example, right? The demand is there. You have how many hotels now? There are maybe a couple hundred hotels, 2-star, 3-star, 5-star. They're there, and in a high-end hotel, they want to have access to have better organic, I would say vegetable, that sort of thing. And one would wonder why, Cambodia with such a fertile soil next to the Tonle Sap, where everything grow, you just put it and it grow. Why we're not able to, provide such a steady supply? I mean, quality supply, not just. And the fact that you mentioned that the issue perhaps sometimes is not the supply, but is a quality supply. So I think when we come back from our break, I want to delve straight into what the model of innovative rural development that you've been working on, that you think have tremendous potential, not just for Cambodia, but also as a lesson learned for other countries in the region as well. All right. Okay, Piseth, let's dwell on something that you've been working on, which I think you are quite proud of. It's what the 100 model village. Well, tell me about it. Why 100? Why model? Why village?
100 model village is a new innovative approach. It's actually being adopted by the leaders, Prime Minister and leaders of Royal Government of Cambodia on the 14th January 2019.
As recent as early this year.
As part of the Cambodian demonstration projects to show to the Asian Cultural Council, which is in which Cambodia is assigned to have the Asian Cultural Council Secretariat in Cambodia. So the Royal Government of Cambodia choose this project, adopt this project as a new development model, innovative development model for rural development. We try to make best use of the potential in rural areas in order to achieve our long-term goal of 2030 and 2050, and at the same time try to contribute to the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And that
quite ambitious, I must say.
It's quite ambitious, and it really go in through the cross-cutting issues and also multidiscipline as well. And the conceptual guidance of that approach we call Techo. Techo, letter T for technology and thought. Letter E for education and ecology. And C for culture and community. H for humanity. And humanities. And the O for organics and origins. So with that guiding principle, it really broad theme that we're trying to achieve. With that 100 model village, we go under the slogan of ditching the diamond from the ground, which means we try to make best use of the resources, and what we call the natural capitals and human capitals, and also social and cultural capitals that are available in the areas in the village. And so we choose 4 village in each 4 villages in each province.
Okay.
And we multiply by 25, it's 100 model village.
So
But
it's nationwide.
it's nationwide projects. And the role of the AVI is to play advisory role to the Royal Government of Cambodia,
Okay.
with the, in which the civil society alliance forums is tasked
Okay.
to play the coordination role for the projects.
So basically, it's really a very broad multi-stakeholder approach. You have civil society involved, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It really brought engage with all the stakeholders,
Yes, yes,
with the
yes.
government, with the private sector, NGO,
Okay.
local community.
Okay.
And the unique is in this project is that it is driven and led by the local people.
Okay.
So that they have the sense of responsibilities and ownership of the
Yes,
projects.
okay,
Without even after the intervention by the government, the project will continue and the
Okay.
community will be able to lead.
That's what sustainability is all about, I would say, right? Because you cannot rely too long on the government, because the resource is, I would say, is diminished over time. But how do you, I would say, select, say for example, in a province, what are the criteria of selecting village, the 4 village?
The 4 village, we have to go through different process for this project implementation. We start with project selection, a
Yes.
few questions, and then we go for a more comprehensive study, and then we
Okay,
go for the project piloting.
Okay.
Yeah, so with the project selection, there's a team coming from different group from AVIs and the civil society alike, and we go to the province,
Yes.
any province,
Yeah,
in
okay.
Prabhir or others. But right now we already started with 16 villages in Prabhir province,
Okay.
and last week we went to Takeo province.
Yes.
So we will roll out to other provinces as
Okay.
well. So we went through the 16 provinces, 16 villages.
Yes.
Look at their potential.
Yes.
Look at their culture. Look at their
Okay.
access to the road. Look
Okay.
at their role of gender. Yeah, and look at the resource availability and so on. But we have to. Our project is more cultural based.
Yes, yes.
Trying to
Okay. Okay.
provide
Okay.
income generations for the people, and at the same time make sure the people live happy close to
Yes,
their
yes.
homes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so with different criteria of road access, leadership in there, the commitment of the rural community,
Yes, yes.
cultural role of
Yes,
the
yeah.
women and so on. We have a list of like 20, more than 20 of criteria.
Don't forget the youth.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, probably one of the concern that we should be very careful is that how to ensure that social harmony, because social harmony has a lot to do with family.
Yeah.
You know, when the kids have to migrate from rural area to work in a garment factory in Phnom Penh, I have no problem with that. But what I'm saying is that if there are jobs closer to home, closer to their family, they could help the family. And I think Cambodian being a very, I would say, family-driven, society, having the comfort of having your kids, your parents around, matter quite a bit. So I think culture it's important, because we care a lot for a parent, grandparent, and they care a lot for their grandchildren. But you can only care so much when they are so far away. Yeah, and I think, yes, to have remittance from a garment worker, a shoes factory worker in Phnom Penh, at the end of the month they send some money home, is one thing, but it does not substitute for this personal care to be around, So I think this whole village model, I hope you stress a lot on that social harmony.
We really pay close attention to the social harmonies, and we hope that with our interventions, the village is going to be attractive and charming to the people to stay on, which is very important for long-term community developments. Staying too close to home, have a sense of communities. And actually in rural areas, you would say that a lot of people now migrate to urban or to Thailand, to other for job, right? But at the same time, the cost of production, for example, you hire a farmer to do agriculture land, the cost is already increased, like close to $10 per day. If compared to the salary in the city, it's not much far difference. And at the same time, through our project, we hope to be can provide intervention using the existing potential, whether it's tourism, fisheries,
Yes.
agricultural lands,
Yes.
or handicraft, any available in the community. We try to bring up and provide employment to the people.
Yeah.
With that, the people can have better access to
Yes.
education, to healthcare,
Yes.
to the family bonds, and
Yes.
so on, which is very important.
Yeah. I travel quite a bit, you know, in my line of work, and it's interesting that when I talk about Cambodia to foreigner, the first thing that come to mind is always Angkor Wat, right? And those who are more historical driven, they will mention about the genocide, that sort of thing. But you don't hear much about them talking about Cambodia. I go to visit the eco-tourists. I want to see, you know, the current culture, you know, and there are country. In fact, when they promote the country, they say, look, go to live for a week in that particular place. You know, it's nothing fancy, but that's how our people live.
Yeah.
You know, so it's quite interesting. In Cambodia, I'm pretty sure there are activity. There are village who have this homestay. I guess.
Yeah, there are villages that have homestay.
This is quite interesting. You know, because sometimes when tourists come after Angkor Wat, they would want to feel. You know, what is it to live a Cambodian lifestyle? You know. Wake up in the morning, go to the river, you know, take a plunge, you know.
Yeah, Cambodia have like we said Cambodia in general actually.
Yeah.
But if you go into different village,
Yeah.
they would have their unique culture.
Yes.
For example, the recent village we went to in Takao province, they live on the floating.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
on the lake, so they have their own unique culture of
Yes.
cooking, of mean of transportation, just go by boat, or
Yes.
they would have their own resort, for example, just their local community resort with the gazebo on the rice field, looking at the sunset, or
Yes.
see the greenery itself. It's really interesting. While you go to Koke or in Prairie here, there are still culture of like local sport or game using the sword, hitting each other with their herbal on the skin. That so it show really different unique culture.
Yes.
Even the food itself. They have the spice. Our Cambodia we have prahok, like the famous one. But in that village they have prahok, but with something with a recipe by itself.
With their own. Right?
With their own, because they have to go to sometime in the past they go to the forest for month.
Yes.
So they have that one. They can use it for month and just can have with lunch with their meal directly without any have to cooking. To do cooking and anything.
Yeah.
So Cambodia really have a lot of potential in ecotourism in the village. And as a Buddhist country, we put in our constitution, Cambodia is a Buddhist country.
Yes.
So we may have like in Peru here, we may have another plan, may have the Buddhist village, where they have the Buddhist history, where the Buddhist statues and so on could be celebrated, and where the tourists can come and see how Buddhist.
Yes. Well, I mean, you mentioned this is great. I'm so happy to hear that, because sometimes, you know, being a Buddhist country, we go to the temple, we go to pagoda, right? But it's really you making the effort to go there. Sometimes I take my family to Luang Prabang, right? And Luang Prabang, it's a culture that you wake up at 4 in the morning, you know, and you line up, you know, so tourists, the local, they get up there, they line up in front of the pagoda, and there's about 100 monks. So by the time sunrise come, you know, you have already paid respect and pay homage to about 100 monks who just walk by there. So it become a tourist attraction. Because when we go to a delegation, a meeting or something, they always say you should go to the arm offering to the monk. But this is quite something, and maybe the village that you mentioned, the Buddhist village you mentioned, could be the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're copying other country. We have our own culture, but it's more about organizing.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, we have a lot of things that in place that we haven't really organized well. Yeah, in terms of culture, in terms of like homestay, as you mentioned, eco village. like in the floating life in Tonle Sap, for example,
Yes.
there are a lot of way they live on the floating life,
Yes.
and they have their own way, but we haven't really explored much.
Yes.
Or in Pravihi itself, or Mundulkiri Ratnagiri, we have indigenous group of people. We
Yes.
haven't really explored, learn about them, about their food culture, learn about their practices and their artifacts and so on. So we need to do a lot more on that
Yes.
part to promote the tourism.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so now you start with a pilot, you know, and what is the timeline that you see this model, you know, will reach its maximum potential, which is the 100 village?
Yeah, the project itself, it's a 5-year project.
Okay.
It's a pilot project. If it proved to be successful, we can extend to another 5 years
Okay.
or 10 years, because
Okay.
it's really a new model.
Yes.
And we already started first year. We start doing this pilot, the village selections.
Yeah.
After that, we will have a comprehensive
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
study that will collect all the information
Yes,
available.
Yeah.
And then after that, we go for piloting, really introducing projects.
Okay.
And the project itself will link to the will allow community to lead the process.
Yes.
And we also provide necessary capacity building to these people.
Okay.
And we value their knowledge.
Yes, yeah.
Their local ecological environmental knowledge, social knowledge, culture, everything. And at the same time, we would provide necessary capacity building program.
Okay. Okay. Lesson learned is important. You mentioned that word. It's good that some pilot villages succeed. Different geography go, I say, distribution. Is the Ministry of Tourism involved, right? For sure, right?
Yeah.
Who else? The Ministry of
When
Agriculture?
the process go into more,
Yes.
there will be a lot of role for Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Rural Development,
Yes.
Ministry of Agriculture,
Yeah.
Ministry of Meteorologies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it may involve, we also will involve the handicraft industry as well.
Yes,
Because there are
yes.
handicraft that
Yes.
people have been producing that haven't really explored and
Yes.
export to the market.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, recently we managed to, based on the previous what we call links,
Yes.
we managed to bring one Japanese company
Okay.
to Pravi here.
Yes.
They plan to produce fingerling, the small fish, and supply to the village.
Is that
And-
right?
Yeah, so
Yes.
with that,
Very expensive, you know that?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, very expensive fingerling there.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
yeah, so yeah, that we hope that with that kind of partnership, private partnership, with
Yes.
will provide job opportunity for
Yes,
the
yeah,
people.
Yeah.
At the same time, the people can benefit. First, they can grow that kind of fish
Yes.
for their own additional protein. At the
Yes.
same time, at the end of the year, they can also sell and make some money from that as well. So,
You touched a bit on capacity building, you know. I think, you know, when you first start mentioning that the idea of the project is to pick the stone from the earth
yeah,
and then we refine it. It's like diamond, right? Yeah, you know, you need to refine it.
yeah,
I mean, precious stone in itself is not that precious. It's only after it's refined. So if I can use that metaphor, a good example that we as Cambodians are very proud. Whenever we travel abroad, I always stop by to Artisan Dongko,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because I know when I buy a product, a souvenir, a gift for my friend that I will visit in Canada, Australia, or in Singapore, in France, I know that small gift, because you cannot buy a big one because of luggage, right? But it's quality. It's quality. And it's such a nice feeling when you visit them a couple of years later. You still see that piece on their wall, on their shelf, you know? But you see it's a quality, right? And this quality is from a Cambodian craftsman.
Yes.
And, you know, from Angkor, you can see that Cambodia are great craftsmen, are great artisans. Right? And these are something that I would say, how can we, I would say, help them to harness their existing artistic skill, right? Not just for the people in Siem Reap. Because when you drive to Siem Reap, you pass by, I think, one place where they do all the statue of Buddha, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a village, you know, industry in itself, right?
Yeah, yes.
You go to Kampong Chnang, people make chnang, right?
Clay, yeah.
The clay thing, that sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I think we'll take another the last break, and when we come back, we dig a bit more on the organizational aspect of it, and how we would see, Cambodia model being shared to the rest of other country for the purpose of showing off that culture matter. If you harness culture well, you can bring development, you can bring social harmony. Yeah. Good. Piseth, the 100 Model Village is a Cambodian initiative. We should be proud of it. It's part of a larger, I would say, scheme in the fact that Cambodia is the host of the Asian Cultural Council, and we have our own Secretary General who are permanently based here, Excellency Soyara. It's a great initiative, so we promote quite a bit the initiative. So people are watching. People want to see how Cambodia is doing. What do you see from your perspective? How soon can we share, and where do we share this? In the context of, with the neighbor, but also in the context. Don't forget, you mentioned yourself, the Sustainable Development Goal. Cambodia is committed to deliver on this goal, right? But this could be one of the contribution that we can help, particularly in terms of poverty reduction, in terms of a few other goals that we should be mindful of.
Cambodia. Cambodia should be proud that the Asian Cultural Council is hosted in Cambodia among 52 countries, and thanks to the teams and the Royal Government of Cambodia for working really hard in order to convince other countries to give this position to Cambodia. And I believe Excellency Soyara, and I believe you're also part of the process as well.
Yes.
It's really worked really hard, but with our pleasure taking this host with our honor, we also have to be careful as well.
Yes.
The other 52 countries are watching us.
Yes.
How we perform, how Cambodia perform. So the the 100 Model Village is the initiative that we hope it will be successful.
Yeah.
We cannot afford to fail for this.
Yes.
And the ACC Secretariat will be the main channel to share the experience with other country, and because we have a meeting every 1 or 2 per year, and we have to share. We're gonna share, and other country would ask as well. But even though we have just started the project, we already been approached by the Indonesian government asking us more to understand more so that they can apply with their own context as well.
Yes.
The context itself doesn't have to be. The project itself doesn't have to be copied 100%. It's just like we have the models, and they can use and adapt it. Customize it into their own context. And we also have a connection with Nepal as well.
Yes, okay.
So we already
just have a recent visit of Nepal, Prime Minister.
So the experience from 100 Model Village will be shared widely to other countries. We may, while we are doing this job, we will work with other countries like Laos, or Thais, or Vietnam, Myanmar. We may end up building the cultural route, right, from all the way from Cambodia to Laos or Thai, Myanmar, Bangladesh, go to Nepal, and all the way to India, and go through this route. Right?
Maybe we can retrace back to our great ancestor who built the great route, right? That was King Jayavarman VII, who have the route, go all the way to, I think, Mandalay, all the way to Mandalay. So, but anyway, these are great inspiration, that we could do something. Let's face it, Cambodia. Some people say we're still a post-crisis country. I don't know how long is the timeline before we stop being labeled as a post-crisis. But for people in my generation who went through the killing field, the genocide, in our mind we're still post-crisis, because we always benchmark, when we have peace, and the Prime Minister Hun Sen, his win-win, policy that brought us peace was quite something that we have to really appreciate, because without peace, you cannot do a lot of things that you do. So I think, from a country that were a recipient of so many help from the world, it's so good to feel that now, not just now, but in the past, we've also been able to also give back to the community. It's like time to give also. I can cite that during the trade negotiation, WTO, we were the first one to, with Nepal, right, to join WTO. We were able to give back to many other acceding countries the lesson that we're doing. The ICC of, Angkor, right here, we also excel, right, with UNESCO. What else? The mining, from a recipient of the UN peacekeeping force. Now we are sending, our own Cambodian men and women peacekeeper to different parts of the country that are in crisis, and hopefully we have a successful cultural side that we can share as well.
We most likely the project is going to be successful in the sense that it's really linked to other countries in terms of culture, in terms of local initiative, in terms of capacity buildings and all this cross-cutting scheme that can easily fit with other countries. And model itself is just like we do not provide one template that other have to apply. Maybe other countries also have their own experience already. Bigger country have their own experiences, but with us we try something. Actually, all the countries talk a lot about local participation and local initiative, this and that, but the actual ones, how much they have really implemented, how much local initiative are really in place. For us, it's really about us showing that this is how the local initiative take place. And also at the same time we try to do cross-cutting issue that
like what would be the cross-cutting issue?
Cross-cutting, for example, the gender in development, or human resource development, or water management in all cross-cutting issues, or the we call artificial intelligence. We're going to use modern technology for industry policy to monitor the price in the market. We also introduce in this local initiative project as well.
Design an app. What's the price of banana?
That's what happening. Actually, in one of the here they also have that apps that local people can access to the data. We can apply that model as well to our projects. So with this, we bring all the cross-cutting issue and put into one basket, one umbrella. So it's also a unique thing that we are trying to introduce. And let's come back to the point that you made on peace. Of course, Cambodia have enjoyed peace over the last 2 decades. It's very important. We cannot take peace for granted. And from being a very recipient country to the country that contribute to the world and to the region is very important. And we hope that this 100 model village, while people happily live with their close to the family, they are sort of like generating the money, the income. At the same time, they are spiritually rich because they live close to the family. And with this, it will contribute to maintaining peace and stability of society as well. With peace and stability, Cambodia will be able to do well for ourselves, and at the same time going to contribute to the region and the world.
I think for country who has never been in recent history through wars or civil strife, the people do not appreciate that the peace, the dividend of peace. Like I say, for my generation went through, we really appreciate that, and we don't take for granted. We always talk to our kids, what happened then, and we always stress to them that why they are blessed. They're blessed that they can wake up in the morning, have their noodle soup, and go to school, and come home and have a stomach ache. They can walk to the local pharmacy and get the medicine. This is not something that our generation that went through the difficult years could claim. You said yourself that when you grew up, even in Phnom Penh, there was no basic, I would say, amenities. So this thing would not happen without peace, right?
That's true.
And the fact that now we can go beyond the capital city, go to the rural area, go to the province, this is quite an achievement.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's barely 2 decades.
Yeah.
It's a blink of an eye
blink of
in,
an eye,
in
yeah.
terms of history.
Yeah.
It's a blink of an eye. But, a country with a civilization, of Angkor civilization, we are not a young country. We have a civilization. And this probably, to me, culturally speaking, is probably something that make us resilient even after we've gone through the difficult years.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Even though I could not claim that I went through the Khmer Rouge, I learned
Yes.
I know about Khmer Rouge because I was born after that.
Yes.
But I went through all the difficulty, the post-war period
Yes.
during the 1980, 1990.
Yes.
I even witnessed that during 1990 we had to evacuate, run around when there was a clash in the
Yes.
city.
Yes.
So that kind of a war mentality of getting scared of the war is still
Yes.
in my mind, and also learn that really value the peace and
Yes.
stability of the countries.
Yes.
And Cambodia have a long history. We have a great culture during the Khmer empires, and we can also, if we look at the current existing evidence of Prabhupada temples or Angkor temple, even going back to Tromda, there's
Yes.
history there.
Yeah.
And Cambodia is one of the country that really, if we can say that really resilient and recover. We
Yes.
also have a sense of nations
Yeah.
as well, in the sense that we still love our own country. Even we go anywhere, we still miss our
Yes,
own country,
exactly.
no matter where we are.
Yeah, yeah.
So the bonds of the
Yeah.
people are still there.
I think now it's important that your generation, post-war, have the chance to be educated abroad, bring back the knowledge in a globalized society, in I would say, a ICT age, digital age. So, to me, it's a great equalizer. The digital world is a great equalizer. Nobody have any monopoly of knowledge anymore. Not the West, not the North, not the South, not the big country, not the small country. It's a great equalizer. We have access to the same knowledge. Our human resources are young, dynamic, and I would say we care a lot. I'm pretty sure you and your friends, your relatives, we care a lot about rebuilding our nation. So on that spirit, I think we need to sustain that nation-building spirit. My generation, we just start, emerge from the war, we just try to rebuild. But I think your generation is about consolidating the nation-building process, right? This 100 model village is probably is a great equalizer also, because it's enable somebody who live right here, to have the same chance as somebody in the cave or Gakong, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important we sustain that spirit of nation building,
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're almost coming to the end of the show, and perhaps I would want to ask you to maybe what message you have to the audience.
Thank you. Yeah, the main message for the discussion today is the Cambodia. If Cambodia mean to achieve the 2030 and 2015 visions, we need to make best use of our potentials in rural areas. There are really areas that we need to know, need to learn, and make best use of. For example, the potential of the soil, potential of the people, and potential of the skill available, the handicraft that just mentioned about the style, the stone carving and so on. And this project will contribute to peace and stability of the country while people are rich spiritually and economically. They would live happy life, and they don't have a reason to protest or do anything else that to go against the existing order. So 100 model village is the model, the new model, an innovative model that can contribute to nation buildings and national development. And as it also reduce the what we call inequalities in terms of the wealth, incomes, and also gender inequality as well.
Well, I want to say thank you for coming and share your perspective on this, generally on the rural development dynamics. But with this specific example of this 100 village model. I'm quite excited about it. Looking forward maybe a year from now to have you back. Perhaps you can share, the findings, of the early pilot phase, and hopefully we can replicate in other countries. Right.
Thank you very
So,
much.
in a way, we're coming to the end of the show, but I'm not gonna bother summarizing because our discussion is quite broad. But the main message that I get out of this discussion is that the government is quite keen to see the rural area have a better opportunity as much as those in the urban area. And one of the approach that they're willing to commit to engage is to work on this 100 model village, which has a nationwide broad, I would say, coverage. So I think we look forward to see the progress. But I think it's important also that the stakeholder, and here my pitch will probably more toward the stakeholder, civil society who are in different province, look out for this project, try to reach out to see how you can contribute. I know the Ministry of Women Affairs have different center in different province. This program has also a good gender dimension. This is also an opportunity. The youth, the same thing. How can we work together? Again, it's a government initiative, but it really should be a national initiative initiated by the government. But ultimately, it should be taken by the local community. So on that note, I wish you a good nation building, and hopefully we can learn something from this experience. So on that note, thank you so much,
Thank you.
and see you next time.
See you.
Good night.